Erling Haaland is already 20th on the list of all-time top scorers in the Champions League. And so you might think he's breaking football, or he's already broken football. He's an alien, a monster. Arr. He's probably on track to becoming the greatest goal scorer the world has ever seen. Well, hold your horses, because I've crunched the numbers, and what I've discovered may shock you. So, Cristiano Ronaldo is currently the top scorer of all time ever in the world of football. He has scored 863 goals and is 38 years old. Erling Haaland has scored 249 goals for club and country, and he's 23. So, if he is to beat Ronaldo's record by the time he is 38, he has to score 614 goals in the next 15 seasons. And over 15 years, that's 40.9 goals per year. And that's of course assuming that Ronaldo stops scoring right now. So he could do it, but say he only plays the same level until he's 34. Well, that would mean he has to score 55.8 goals per year, which is more difficult. Now, despite what the talking frog who lives under a bridge near my house says, it is impossible to see into the future, so we can't know if this really happens. But we can try and simulate it on Football Manager, and so that's what we did. But to make things fair, we moved him to Real Madrid so we'd have the exact same chances of scoring as Ronaldo. And in 7 seasons at Real Madrid, he scored 289 goals, which is a total, if you add to his real goals in real life, of 538 goals in 7 years' time when he's 30. Assuming the game is correct, of course, and if it is, that would mean he has roughly another 5 to 8 years after that to try and score an additional 325 goals. And for realism, we also put him in a completely normal situation and had him play for Dundee. And he scored 41 goals. So regardless of whether he plays for Real Madrid or Dundee, he's on track to beat the record. It's possible. But how is he doing this? How is he breaking football? Where has this creature come from? Because there's surely been players in the past, strikers, who are strong and fast and score loads of goals. What makes Haaland so special and different? Well, to answer that, what I think we should do is break down what a striker is to its bare bones into 4 distinct categories, and I've done it. I've got a categorized thing that shows you what the best strikers in the world ever do, and why Haaland is so much better than them. And what you can see on the board thing I've got here is a division of what a striker truly is. Now, these are broken into 4 categories. The first one is physical, as in, are you aggressive and big and tall, and can you jump? Speed, that's how fast you run, that's what that means. Creative, like how creative I've been with this video. Dennis Bergkamp, he's creative with his passes, you know, that's what he does. Or someone very dribbly like Messi, he's creative, so he'd be very high on this scale. And then clinical is goal scoring, consistently always hitting those goals, scoring above your XG, that's kind of what that means. But there's a lot to take in here, a lot to read. Perhaps reading isn't your thing. Isn't that right, Ian?
Do you hate reading? That's sad. But it's also why we created the Daily Football Briefing Show. It's a podcast, but crucially, it's only 10 minutes long. It tells you exactly what you need to know about the news every single weekday. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, all the usual podcast places, or click in the link below. Search for the Daily Football Briefing Show, and then you won't be sad.
Thanks, Ian. So what is it that makes Haaland so special compared to other strikers? Well, let's take some of the best strikers in the world and put them on my foolproof graph. Now, what we could look at is someone like Harry Kane. He's a very good striker. He's very creative. I put him probably around here on the thing here. And he's also very, very clinical over here. But he's not particularly physical, probably here. And then speed, not very. And so what you get with Harry Kane is this shape. Yes. How about Michael Owen? He used to be amazing. He won the Ballon d'Or. Now, he used to be very, very fast. So I'll put him right up here because that's where he belongs. But also, Michael Owen's not very physical whatsoever, and he wasn't very creative. And so he was clinical, probably less so than here. We'll put him round about, that's probably about there, right? So Michael Owen looks like this. That's what he looks like. It's not bad. Now how about Alan Shearer? Oh, I love Alan Shearer, he's really nice. Also, he scored loads of goals. He's still the Premier League top scorer of all time, right? So Alan Shearer, physical, quite physical. Put him maybe around about here. Troy Deeney would be here, Alan Shearer's over here. Not very fast, but faster than you think he was. He's round about, I would say, here before he got all his injuries. He's very, very clinical. He'd be round about here with Harry Kane, I would say. And then you've got creativity, not really. Probably not far off Michael Owen. He was very good at crossing back in the day. And so Alan Shearer looks a bit like this, which is really good, right? But what you'll notice here is that all these players kind of touch on one thing particularly that they're really good at. They're all quite clinical. They touch on one other thing. Now let's look at Erling Haaland. He is an absolute monster. He is very, very, very physical. He's also incredibly fast, also very, very clinical. And so what's he got? Wow, by golly gosh, wouldn't you know it? He's basically better than every single other person. Creative? Not really. We'll put him around a bit here between Owen and Shearer. So then you get this sort of thing here. But Haaland has a massive triangle. He's a triangle boy. And the triangle boy stuff is important because that's kind of what makes him overpowered. He has the huge physical attributes that no one else really has. He's overpowered in real life, but he's also overpowered, apparently, in video games. And so back in 2022, we went to Football Manager on an adventure, and they told us all about this.
Erling Haaland, I've been told, breaks video games. Have you found that to be the case?
I have.
He does kind of break the game a little bit because the way he is built. If you were to build a footballer like from scratch, you would want Erling Haaland, right?
He not only is tall and strong, but he's also fast and powerful. So he's got like the whole package.
He plays to 20-35, no issue. Doesn't get injured that often. And he goes to a good team and he'll score 35 goals this season.
Now that was before FM23 came out last year, and the developers had to change the game a little bit to try and make sure he wasn't ridiculously overpowered, making him as close to real life as possible. But he is recently overpowered in real life, so therefore he looks very powerful within the game. But here's the thing, that physicality can't last forever, let me tell you that as a truth. Wisdom. Oh boy, the minute you hit about 30, you're not fast anymore. That's what happens when you're not a pro athlete. So what I've done is thought about what might happen in the future to Erling Haaland. He's 23, remember? And so what will happen is your mental attributes will increase, because as my excellent scientific graph proves, this is based on no data, mental attributes go up with age, but your physical declines. And if you're me, it's slightly earlier than this. But this is mostly what I think footballers are like. And those mental attributes are absolutely key. That's how you develop and stay at the top end of the game. Think about players like Alan Shearer, had really serious injuries, had to develop his game. Michael Owen had serious injuries, had to develop his game. Not quite the same players when he lost those physical attributes, but still excellent in the box, being able to make these movements. Now Haaland already has those mental attributes. This is the other thing that makes him overpowered. And you can see that he already scores at higher than anyone in Europe since joining City. That's not just physicality, that's also the mental awareness and strength that he has there too. And the other concerning thing is that Haaland's not even fully cooked yet. He's 23, strikers don't peak until they're 27. Tom Worville made this when he escaped from the scattergram before he left us for other pastures. So Haaland, in theory, isn't even at his best yet. So there is still lots of time to score more goals. So we may not know the future, we don't know how good he can be, but we know from the past that players tend to get better around 27. So Haaland has those extreme physical attributes right now that make him so good. But as his mental attributes develop, he should get even better. And as the great Johan Cruyff once said, you play football with your head, and your legs are there to help you. And so if Haaland is insane and tries to break this goal scoring record by staying as fit as he is now until he's 38, well done to you, he might beat the record. He could do it, we know it from the simulations. But here's the thing that I said would shock you before at the start. It's a lizard! Look at the lizard!
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.